Team Spirit. Team Spirit looked like a disaster on day one of TI-10, down 0-2 in group stage, falling to both PSG LGD and Team Secret. But instead of folding, they flipped the script. They scraped into the upper playoff seed, then lost their first main event series to Invictus Gaming and were sent to the lower bracket. That's where the war began. Spirit swept Fnatic, took down OG and Pro, avenged Invictus Gaming, then shocked epic favorites Team Secret. Yatoro dropped 3 rampages, record-setting at the International. Finally, in the grand final, they faced LGD, took games 1 and 2, let LGD square it up, then locked in Game 5 by drafting Collapse's signature Magnus and shutting down LGD's timings. They lifted the Aegis and earned $18.2 million, the largest prize in esports history. From near elimination to champions, CIS Esports reborn. Cloud9. North America had never won a CSGO major until Cloud9 at Boston 2018. They entered as underdogs.
Before that legendary grand final, Cloud9's road to Boston was a nail-biting testament to grit. In the new Legend stage, they lost their first 2 maps, falling to G2 and Space Soldiers, sending them to the brink of elimination. Needing wins just to survive, Cloud9 blew past Virtus Pro, dismantled Astralis 16-6, then stomped Vega Squadron 16-4 to scrape into the Champions stage, the bracket stage. In the quarterfinals, they faced G2 again and dominated, winning both Mirage and Overpass comfortably. Next was SK Gaming in the semis, 16-3 on Mirage, then a loss on Cobblestone before closing out Inferno 16-9 to earn their spot in the grand final.
Fell 0-1 to FaZe Clan, but then stood tall. Overpass, 16-10. Inferno, a nail-biting 22-19 OT victory sealed the reverse sweep. Stewie2K and Tarek exploded with clutch calls and multi-kills. When the final round dropped, the crowd shook. North America finally broke the curse. That win wasn't luck, it was grit, chemistry, and belief. DRX. Picture this, the biggest stage in League of Legends, Worlds 2022 at the Chase Center in San Francisco. On one side, T1 and Faker, the Goliaths of esports, eyeing a 4th title. On the other, DRX, Korea's 4th seed, fresh off of play-ins after a rough domestic season. Hardly anyone expected them here. But DRX's journey began long before the finals. They stormed out of play-ins undefeated, topped Group C, then stunned defending champions Edward Gaming in a reverse sweep, coming back from 0-2 to win 3-2. In the semis, they dismantled Gen.G 3-1, making history as the first play-ins team to ever reach Worlds Finals. Now, Finals night. Game 1, T1 crushes DRX in under 32 minutes, Faker reigning supreme on Azir. But Game 2, DRX responded with surgical precision, diving Faker and swinging momentum back in a 46-minute slugfest. Game 3 swung T1's way thanks to clutch steals. DRX found themselves down 1-2. But DRX weren't done. Game 4, they dismantled T1 in just 28 minutes. Kingan's Aatrox and Pyoshik's Maokai turned the tide. And then, Game 5. A 42-minute chess match. Every objective, every engage came down to macro perfection. DRX seized Elder Dragon and the title, becoming not just champions, but the first ever play-ins team to win Worlds. It wasn't just a win, it was a miracle run. DRX had never beaten T1 that year until this moment. The crowd erupted. Analysts called it the greatest underdog run in esports history, and Deft, the 10-year veteran, finally held the Summoners Cup in his first finals appearance. Bugha. Enter Kyle Bugha Giersdorf, 16 years old. At the 2019 Fortnite World Cup solo finals, he shattered expectations. He crushed every round, finishing with a jaw-dropping 59 points, nearly doubling second place's 33, and earned a record-breaking $3 million prize. You heard that right, 59-33. He consistently slayed, building with surgical precision. Post-victory, he softly said, "I'm so happy." Not screaming, just stunned with an ear-to-ear grin. 5 years later, Bugha still competes at elite levels. That wasn't a lucky win. That was dominance. OG. In May 2018, OG lost two star players, Fly and S4, just weeks before TI8 qualifiers. They weren't invited directly and had to scramble into European Open qualifiers. The roster they put together included Anna, returning from a break, and Topson, a pub player making his LAN debut. Critics called them washed up or worse. They shocked everyone by winning qualifiers and advancing through the group stage with a 9-7 record, which earned them a spot in the upper bracket of the main event. From there, OG didn't lose a series. They looked unstoppable. In the grand final against PSG LGD, OG took Game 1, dropped Games 2 and 3, and faced elimination. But Game 4 was pure clutch. And by Game 5, OG had completely flipped the script. Their drafting late game denied LGD any chance. They capitalized on every mistake and closed the series. They lifted the Aegis of Champions, took home over $11 million, and forged a legacy, from patchwork roster to repeatable champions by TI9. TSM. Team Solo Mid weren't just underdogs at ALGS 2023. They were nearly out. Headed into Match 6, TSM trailed multiple teams, and only Dreamfire and Optic were match point eligible after topping 50 points.
TSM sat in 13th place with just 22 points.
Effectively eliminated if one more team clinched match point. Then, something unbelievable happened. TSM won Match 6, their first win of the finals, racking up big elims and climbing the standings dramatically. They followed that with another first place in Match 7, securing match point eligibility at long last. And they didn't stop. Match 8, the final round, they clinched yet another first-place finish, sealing the championship. That's right, 3 straight wins, all first-place finishes across matches 6, 7, and 8.
To go from nearly dead last to ALGS champions,
Imperial Hal led the plays in every zone, pulling together eliminations and rotations that felt impossible. TSM lifted the ALGS trophy and $600K prize, with Hal earning MVP honors.
TSM's turnaround in the ALGS 2023 championship was nothing short of legendary. An impossible comeback pulled off on the biggest stage.
Penta Sports. At the 6th Invitational 2018 Grand Final, Evil Geniuses started strong, winning the first 2 maps, Clubhouse and Oregon, and appearing destined to defend their title. Then, Penta Sports turned the series around. They took Cafe 5-3, then Bank 5-2, forcing a critical Game 5. On Coastline, Penta surged with confidence, pulling ahead and holding EG under pressure. In OT, it was Pengu who sealed the deal. His 15th kill came in a clutch 1v2 to secure the reverse sweep for Penta, winning the series 3-2 and capturing the championship in stunning fashion. By winning the final 2 maps after dropping the first 2, they completed one of the most iconic reverse sweeps in Siege history. They lifted the trophy and claimed the top prize, not just winning the title, but proving that composure, strategy, and clutch execution can overcome early dominance.
Faker's comeback. Even the greatest legends can hit their lowest point. In July 2023, Faker was sidelined with a wrist injury. T1 slumped to a 7-9 record in summer, missing playoffs momentum. People wondered, is the GOAT finished? Then came August, too. Faker returns. Instantly, T1 flips the narrative, playing crisp, surgical games to the extent that opponents barely stood a chance. He openly admitted he was still only at 50% form, but it didn't show. His presence alone galvanized the team. With Faker back, T1 surged into the summer finals, and then secured the top spot in championship points, earning a World's berth. At Worlds 2023, T1 lost just 2 games in the entire tournament, 1 each to Gen G and JD Gaming in the knockout stages. Every other match was dominant control. They beat all 4 LPL teams in the bracket, including a clean 3-0 sweep against Weibo Gaming in finals. Faker himself used just 5 champions, Azir, Orianna, Silas, Akali, and Ahri, and consistently topped damage charts, orchestrating team fights with precision. When he lifted the trophy on November 19th in Seoul, Faker became the first player to ever win 4 Worlds titles, and at 27 years old, the oldest Worlds champ ever. From sidelined and doubted to dominant and historic,
Faker's comeback was not just a return, it was reaffirmation that legends never die. Selangor Red Giants. At MSC 2024 in Riyadh, Selangor Red Giants entered as underdogs. Malaysia had never won a major international MLBB title, and SRG's regional reputation was still building. But they started strong, finishing group stage with a key upset over Fnatic Onic and slipping only 1 series in Group B, enough to qualify as group winners. From there, they cruised through quarterfinals 3-2 over Fireflux and semifinals 3-0 over NIP Flash, showing clean strategy and unwavering composure. In the grand final awaiting them were Falcons AP Bren, the reigning M5 world champions and tournament favorites. SRG lost Game 1, but answered back with wins in Games 2 and 4. Falcons regained advantage in Game 3 and tied it in Game 6, forcing Game 7 for the first time ever in MSC history. In the decider, SRG exploded. First blood in minute 4, controlled early lanes, and delivered a dominant war. It ended 21-10 in just 17 minutes. Sekais, their jungler, was magnificent and named Finals MVP. They took home USD $1 million and etched Malaysia's name on the international stage for the first time ever. Selangor Red Giants turned regional history into legendary reality. Albus Nox Luna. In 2016, the League of Legends World Championship was dominated by powerhouse teams. But amidst the Giants, a wildcard team emerged from the shadows, challenging the status quo. Albus Nox Luna, a team from the CIS region, previously known as Hard Random, rebranded and set their sights on the global stage. Drawn into Group A alongside Rox Tigers, G2 Esports, and Counterlogic Gaming, expectations were low. But Albus Nox Luna defied the odds, finishing the group stage with a 4-2 record. Their victories included a memorable win against G2 Esports, where they showcased their strategic prowess and resilience. Though they lost a tiebreaker against Rox Tigers for first place, their performance was historic. Advancing to the quarterfinals, they faced H2K Gaming. Despite a 0-3 loss, their journey marked a significant achievement for wildcard teams. Albus Nox Luna's story is a testament to the unpredictable nature of esports and the power of underdogs.
If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to get notified for future videos like this with not just esports, but gaming topic as well. It helps out a lot. Thanks for watching.